Before purchasing blank, the stylist should inquire about the manufacturing, steel quality, and the right blade edge. Shears. The blank is the direction in which hair grows from the scalp and is also called the natural falling position. Growth pattern. An important element in creating a strong foundation and consistency in hair cutting and creating shapes is the use of blank angles. The technique used to check a haircut for precision of line and shape is called blank cross-checking. Hair blank is the number of individual hair strands on 1 square inch of scalp and is usually described as thin, medium, or thick. Density. Blank in hair cutting is the amount of pressure applied when combing or holding a subsection during a haircut. Tension. What is the best way to maintain control of the subsection when cutting with a vertical or diagonal line? Palm to palm. Blank, also known as projection or lifting, is the degree at which a subsection of hair is held from the head when cutting. Elevation. What is the widest part of the head, starting at the temples and ending at the bottom of the crown, that can be found by placing a cone flag on the side of the head? Parietal ridge. Blank occurs when the hair contracts or lifts through the action of moisture loss or dyeing. Shrinkage. The best overall blade edge for a hairstylist is blank because it will give you the smoothest cut and is the sharpest edge possible. Convex. What bone protrudes at the base of the skull? Occipital bone. For control during hair cutting, the hair is parted into working areas called blank sections. In a blank haircut, also known as a one-length haircut, all of the hair comes to a single hanging level forming a weight line. Blunt. A blank, also known as a guide, is a subsection of hair that determines the length the hair will be cut and is usually the first section cut when creating a shape. Guideline. What type of hair cutting lines are parallel to the floor and relative to the horizon? Horizontal lines. Shears that are designed to remove more hair with larger teeth set farther apart are known as blank notching shears. What is the working area of the hair that is separated prior to cutting? Section. By making a parting or drawing a line from the apex to the back of the ear, you can locate the blank of the head, which consists of all the hair that falls naturally behind the ear. Back. Which type of comb is used mainly to detangle the hair? Wide tooth comb. Blank reduces strain on the index finger and thumb while cutting the hair. Palming the shears. Which 3 countries are primarily responsible for manufacturing the steel used to make professional shears? Japan, Germany, and the United States. A tension in your shears that is too blank will allow your shears to fold the hair loose. What is the line dividing the hair at the scalp, separating one section from another to create subsections? Parting. Blank is another version of point cutting in which a more aggressive technique is used to create a chunkier effect. Notching. Beveling, also known as blank, is the process of thinning the hair to graduated lengths with shears. Slithering. Electric or battery-operated tools that cut the hair by using two moving blades held in place by a metal plate with teeth are called blank. Clippers. Hair that grows below the parietal ridge or crest hangs because of blank. Gravity. Which description is most accurate of fine, thin hair? It needs weight and is limp. Blank shears, also known as scissors, are mainly used to cut blunt or straight lines in hair, to slide cut, point cut, or to implement other texturing techniques. Hair cutting. The process of removing excess bulk without shortening hair length is called blank. Texturing. When using the slicing technique to remove weight and add movement through the lengths of the hair, the shear should never be completely blank. Closed. Which method involves cutting or layering the hair in such a way that the fingers and shears glide along the edge of the hair to remove length. Slide cutting. A blank is a thin, continuous mark, curved or straight, used as a guide while cutting hair. Line. What area of the head is located between the apex and the back of the parietal ridge? Crown. A blank is a basic haircut cut at a 90-degree elevation and then over-directed to maintain length and weight at the perimeter. Long layered cut. It is important to work with the natural blank or where and how hair is moved over the head when locating the bang area. Distribution. If you want hair to be longer toward the front on a layered haircut, over-direct the sections to a stationary guide at the blank. Back of the ears. When your shear is properly fitted, the thumb hole will rest it or slightly over the blank. Cuticle area of the thumb. The blank, or the amount of movement in the hair strand, varies from client to client as well as within the same head of hair. Wave pattern. The location of the four corners signals a change in blank. Head shape. Cowlicks and whirls are examples of blank that will affect where the hair ends up once it is dry, especially in the nape. Growth patterns. You should use the blank degree of tension when cutting hair with strong growth patterns or around the ears to compensate for the hair being pushed up when it dries. Minimum. Blank or stacking involves using diagonal lines to create angles by cutting the ends of the hair with a slight increase or decrease in length. Beveling. You can begin to make decisions about the best haircut for a client by analyzing his or her blank. Face shape. The blank is the highest point on the top of the head and can be located easily by placing a comb on top of the head and notching that the comb is resting on the highest point. Apex. A general rule of thumb when cutting hair is to stand or sit directly in front of the area you are cutting and to keep your body weight blank. Centered. Blank should not be used on curly hair because it weakens the cuticle and causes the hair to frizz. A razor. What hair type requires less elevation and should be left a bit longer when cutting because of shrinkage as it dries? Curly hair. When the hair is elevated blank, you are bulking weight in a haircut below 90 degrees. Achieving balance within a design can be accomplished by understanding the blank and reference points. Head shape. The blank is the visual line in the haircut where the ends of the hair hang together. Weight line. Reference points in a haircut are used to establish blank. Design lines. Which guideline is used in the blunt one-length haircut or used in overdirection to create a length or weight increase? Stationary. The blank indicates the method of gauging the hardness of the metal of an individual shear in order to ensure that it maintains a sharp edge for an extended period of time. Rockwell hardness. Surfaces on the head where the head changes, such as the ears, jawline, and occipital bone, are referred to as blank. Reference points. What is the ideal Rockwell hardness of a shear? 56 to 57. Which type of texture shear adds increased blending? Texturizing. If hair shrinks when it dries, you will need to cut wet hair blank than the desired length, 1/4 to 1/2 inch longer. What technique allows you to cut hair very close to the scalp and create a flat top or square shape? Clipper over comb. Professional shears are made by either casting or forging the steel, which process is best for ensuring shear durability, ease of adjustment or repair, and highest quality. Forging only. What is the elevation or degrees contained in a blunt or one-length haircut? 0. Hair blank is based on the thickness or diameter of each hair strand, usually classified as coarse, medium, and fine. Texture. Blank lines in a haircut are those that lie between the horizontal and vertical, have a slanting or sloping direction, and help to blend long layers into short layers to create fullness. Diagonal. Elevation creates graduation and layers and is usually described in blank. Degrees. The three types of straight lines in haircutting include horizontal, vertical, and blank lines. Diagonal. A blank is a conversation between you and your client when you find out what the client is looking for, offer suggestions and professional advice, and come to a joint decision about the most suitable haircut. Client consultation. A blank is created when the space between two lines or surfaces intersects at a given point. Angle. The comb used for close tapers on the nape and sides and when using a scissor over comb technique is a blank. Barber comb. Which guideline involves a small slice of a precious subsection that is moved to the next position and becomes the new guideline. Traveling guide. What is the triangular section of the head that begins at the apex and ends at the front corners? Bang area. The two front corners represent the widest part of the blank. Bang area. The angle at which the fingers are held when cutting the line that creates the shape is referred to as the blank. Cutting line. The hand position that is used most often when cutting uniform or increasing layers is called blank. Cutting over fingers. The blank area is defined as the area at the back part of the neck and consists of the hair below the occipital bone. Nape. What technique should be used to create a length increase in the design of graduated and layered haircuts? Over direction. Haircuts that generally have less weight than graduated haircuts are called blank. Layered cuts. What type of hair cutting lines are perpendicular to the horizon and are used to remove weight to create graduated or layered haircuts and higher elevations? Vertical lines. Which type of shear is used mainly to remove bulk from the hair and is often referred to as a thinning shear, tapering shear, or notching shear? Texturizing. A client's blank is how he or she looks from the side and can be best viewed by pulling the hair away from the face and up and away from the neck. Profile.